Do you smell what the Black Adam is cooking? Rudy Poo, Whisker Biscuit, Candy Yam, Jabroni. It is I, changing the hierarchy in the DC universe.
I think that we should talk.
What is your name?
My name is...
It doesn't matter what your name is! Welcome everybody, I'm RJ the Nerdy Brew, and here on this channel we talk TV, movies, and everything in between, all while drinking a cup of coffee. Now if you like one of those things or all of those things, why don't you consider like, subscribing, and hit that notification bell, and becoming a fellow Brewster. So today, fellow Brewsters, we're having a coffee talk of Black Adam. So Black Adam just came out over this past weekend of October 21st, I believe it was the debut date of the movie, and the movie has been in development Hades for years, right? And I remember when they announced it, and I remember when The Rock got casted, and during that time, years ago, maybe, all right, he's gonna say like it's a decade, but I think back, maybe in 2013 he was casted, but I remember the talks of what they wanted to do with Shazam with under New Line Cinema. And I was still reading like movie blogs, not the movie blog from John Campia, but movie blogs and other movie news that had websites back then, right? In that news, you know, they were shopping around the rumor or whatever, but then The Dark Knight came out and New Line and Warner Brothers was like, oh, we need to pump our brakes because this is a new shift in tone, and we don't know if we want to, you know, stifle what the Dark Knight got going on, and this might be the direction. So I think they held on to that idea of that dark tone, so that's hence Man of Steel. They were just trying to remain that grittiness that everybody wanted, and that movie fell apart. But I just remember at the time it was like The Rock is ideal casting, and I remember before then they had a dude. He was in Dodgeball. I'll put his picture right here, or right here. He'll be on the screen, but I'll put him up to show that he was rumored or he was lobbying to try to be Black Adam, or not Black Adam, but Shazam, for them to collide and to be casted as that character. But it fell through, and you know, we ended up getting the 2009 movie or the 2019 movie, and then we got, you know, Black Adam as Shazam. And the thing about this movie that I like, all right, so I'll say this, the movie to me was mediocre, right? It was meandering. I could tell with a lot of visual cues from the movie. Oh, also spoilers at some point, because I'm gonna get into certain things that I just need to talk about. So it's gonna be spoilers within this movie. So with that being said, there were certain shots, certain things that they were like, yo, we gotta put it in there. It was cool in one movie, so we gotta make it cool in the next movie, right? So, or in our movie. So there was a couple of shots that I noticed that made me sigh while I was watching this movie in the theater. And I was like, why they just can't craft their own thing to be original? But, you know, I guess it's not broke, don't fix it. And the thing that I did enjoy, because there were a few things that I did enjoy about this movie. So I enjoyed The Rock portrayal as Black Adam. Him being Black Adam and reading Black Adam. And a lot of this story comes from, I got some notes. This is 2 of the volumes. I got the other ones in storage, but this is Countdown to Final Crisis. And out of it, there was this run called 52, and it was 52 weeks of a year running down certain events to these heroes, leading to the comic book event called Final Crisis. And Black Adam has his own story and his own stint, and a lot of the movie is held or pulled from that story. So Inner Gang was in that story. The woman, I can't remember her name, I think it's Adriana and Amon, the son. They are part of the Black Adam family. So later on, she gets her own powers and she becomes Isis. And he, the young man in the movie, Amon becomes Osiris, and he has Black Adam powers, and they're the Black Adam family. So for him to go through the loss of his family that they put in the movie, I just think it was a good contrast that he'll be able to build that up in the modern day, and it's still in line with the source material. So I definitely appreciated that. Another thing that I appreciated in this movie was Aldous Hodge. I talked about Aldous Hodge multiple times on the channel, but I like that Aldous Hodge was 1B. The Rock was 1A and he was 1B. I really felt like, even though the movie was called Black Adam, and Black Adam, his character, has a lot of history with the JSA. And with the JSA being introduced, it seems like they've been around before Superman. You know, from Man of Steel, Henry Cavill's Superman, been around before Ben Affleck. So they had to be around in the interim between, you know, Wonder Woman 1 and Wonder Woman 2 for them to even be heroes or acknowledged and to be working with Amanda Waller. But as I was saying, you know, he got that history with him, and I was figuring, for me, Hawkman has the ability, his species and or the character, Carter Hall, has immortality. The spirit, the consciousness, the memories will reincarnate into the next person. Sometimes they need their memory jogged about who they are and what they're about. But all in all, you know, his character reincarnates with different time periods wherever the Carter Hall resides. So one thing that I was thinking was that his character would have past history with Black Adam. And then it happened in the past, and then it would happen modern day. They didn't do that. I don't know. I seen the first trailer, I reacted to it, but I was just thinking like that would have been. And all of these characters, Hawkman and Black Adam, and Dr. Fate, they all tied from the Middle East, or more importantly, Egypt. It would have been cool if they all had prior history to each other. Dr. Fate and Hawkman were like, nah, we can't rock with this dude. Like, we already know how vicious he is. And also, a thing that took me back out of this movie was the language barrier. There wasn't one. I think for me, a line should have been dropped. My magic helps me translate. If he said that, or the girl Adriana from the movie was able to translate, because it seems like she already, from her history and as a comic book character, she is a professor of like history and linguistics and stuff like that. So, you know, they hinted to that, they showed it in the movie, but it would have been cool if they implemented that for the language barrier. And yeah, that was something that took me back out of it, that he was just fine talking, and they didn't want to, they just wanted the audience to just gloss over that. Another gripe that I have about it is definitely Dr. Fate. Now, they're making Black Adam, like, Black Adam is super powerful, right? He is on par with Superman, not gonna lie. He's on par with Superman. Shazam is also on par with Superman. I think Superman is the strongest when need be, right? When it comes to magic, magic is one of his weaknesses. But Dr. Fate, I was so mad at this movie of nerfing who Dr. Fate is. Dr. Fate is God tier powerful. One time in the comics, you know, we all here for the nerdy brew. So with my nerdy conversation, he fought the Spectre to a stalemate. And the Spectre is the wrath of God, the embodiment of the wrath of God. So all the histories that you hear from the Old Testament about God doing some stuff, it was the Spectre. Spectre is the angel of death, the wrath, the judgment for the Judeo-Christian God, right? Or the Most High, whatever God that they choosing in the DC. The biggest of the biggest, that's God's wrath, right? And Dr. Fate fights him to a stalemate. And he's just that powerful. But fighting him to that stalemate, he chose to lose. And with him choosing to lose, it was like to reset the universe. So it was a sacrificial death that he chose to do. But if he didn't do that for the sake of order, because he is a Lord of Order, and the Lord of Order are these cosmic deity beings, celestials, inside the DC universe that keep balance within the universe. They go against the Lords of Chaos. So he's the, and he's the most powerfulest one of the Lords of Chaos. I mean, the Lord of Order. And I just feel like he would have been able to, he's the big gun. So I felt like he would have been able to neutralize Black Adam easily. That's what I felt like could have happened. Also, so at some point he decides to surrender. And with him surrendering, he's like, make sure that I don't say my name ever again, cause this harm. Starting to have a tread of humanity, right? And the thing is this, in the comics, right? He's Shazam, and I gotta tell y'all this. So there's a couple versions, there's a few versions of Black Adam. And as I said in that issue of the New 52, or not New 52, but in the issue of 52, he's running conduct. He rules conduct, and he's killing Intergang. And he's dealing with ISIS. So he's a man with values and morals, but he kills, like he says in the movie. That's Black Adam. But earlier Black Adam, the first earliest issues of Black Adam, not Black Adam himself, but in Shazam, his origin was that he was a priest inside the Pharaoh's council. And the wizard was also like a vizier, the concierge, to this pharaoh, and he sees the work of Black Adam, who was known as Teth Adam at the time, and he's telling him, or he decides to choose him to be the hero or the champion of conduct, and he ends up just becoming power hungry, and the wizard feels regret about his decision and shoots him off 5,000 years of a distance. So I don't know what that is in scientific terms. So I don't know if that's light years, but he's sending him off 5,000 years in a distance away from Earth. So he got upset and he flies all the way back. And when he comes back, it's present day to him during that time. So it was the Fawcett era, which was in the 40s and 50s. And he meets the new one, who's Shazam. So with him meeting Shazam, he feels like, it's a rival for him. So that's the issue. But he was so mad he flew all the way back. But then the wizard is like, I'm gonna send you back again. And he's like, nah, don't do that. Like, F that. And he says Shazam and he ages in an instant. So then that happened again in the New 52 version. And in the New 52 version, Dr. Savannah, who was in the Shazam movie, in this issue, it was in Shazam's volume inside the New 52. And he says to him, or he resurrects him, he's looking for magic to cure his sister. He finds magic, and he's endowed with magic, and he resurrects Black Adam, or Black Adam was in tomb. So I'll get to that too. But in that conversation, the fact that they are connected by magic is how they're able to communicate with one another. And he's the main villain, and he unleashes the 7 deadly sins, and Shazam distributes his power to his foster siblings so they could all fight the 7 deadly sins. The 7 deadly sins go into this businessman. I don't know if it's Ishmael, but Ishmael is a version that they used in this movie, who becomes Sabak. And they use that in that issue, and also fight Shazam, or fight Black Adam, and they hold him down, and then they say Shazam, and then he disintegrates immediately. So with that being said, me knowing the source material, when he said that he was gonna be Shazam, or like say Shazam, I didn't think he was gonna get captured. I thought that he was gonna disintegrate. And then with him disintegrating, I thought that Dr. Fate was gonna resurrect him to fight Sabak. But no, they subverted expectations, or my expectations, and they went off with their own narrative. And it was cool to see that Dr. Fate ended up sacrificing himself. Hold on. I just want y'all to know I got my Taco Bell coffee. I had a crunch wrap this morning, and I like they Cinnabon Delight coffee. So we go through that of him, and they're not sponsoring us. I just like it. So they ended up subverting expectations, and they let him live. And I like a little bit of trivia here, Easter eggs. So they have the flashback of his son becoming the chosen champion during their time period of the evil king, right? All those 2500 BCE, right? So his son, who was the champion, was the actor who plays he plays a version of Young Rock inside the show Young Rock. So it was cool that he brought him over to get some of that DC money to be a character in there. So I enjoyed that. It was a nice little Easter egg about that. So I thought that was cool. This scene was a second. It was a millisecond, but they cut that out and then he was gone. But yeah, and another thing that they changed about his backstory. In the backstory, his nephew was chosen, who was also Amon, was chosen to be the champion at that time against Ibok, and Ibok was having conduct enslaved. They were like a barbarian race, and he didn't like it. Black Adam, Teth Adam didn't like it, so he ends up killing the wizards, because there's a council of wizards. Yeah, there's a council of wizards. And if the reference to help you was all those seats at the end of the Shazam movie where his family sat in, that was where the Council of Wizards was sitting. And his nephew was chosen, but at that time he broke his nephew's neck and took on the power to fight Ibok. And then he fought the Council of Wizards, killed most of them, and then he ended up getting entrapped. Shazam the Wizard ended up entrapping him. So they took the backstory, and that was one thing that I resonated with, that they allowed him to be with his family, or to have a family, to let him be more of a tragic hero than just a villain. But to me personally, I feel like it's okay for The Rock to be just a villain. I gotta say, before I close out this video, I did love his opening. When he arrived, and it was all the slow motion, him getting adjusting, and he said, "Your magic is weak." He said it in the conduct language. Bro, I thought it was fire. I was like, yo, that's a good way to open a movie or introduce a character. I was like, that was great. That was great. I enjoyed that very much so. But all in all, you know, with all this comic book talk and me knowing about Black Adam and Shazam, because I love them very much. The movie, like composited as a film, I just felt it's okay. It's okay. You can wait till it comes home or it comes out on DVD. I'm glad that it's breaking records for The Rock, and I was looking forward to the movie. But the movie all in itself, I felt like when it dealt with the family and when it dealt with, my man Mohammed Ahmed is in that movie. He's a comedian. He plays the uncle of Amon, and I just love that his show. He got a show on Netflix called Mo that takes place down in the H-Town, baby. Know what I'm talking about? I just love that show, and he was great in it. He was a good comedic relief. He was a good part of the humanity. But when it came to all the other humans inside of it, I didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was kind of cheesy. Kind of took away from what the movie was. Enjoyed that post-credit scene. It was good to see Henry Cavill back, because his character of him playing Superman has been in limbo for quite some time. And with him being in limbo, it just seems like solidification that they're keeping it. I like seeing Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. And I feel like she's a good characterization of who the character is. That's one. And then two, you know, continuing and holding on to the franchise and being like the DC's version of Nick Fury. I'm enjoying that. Holding it together while they're trying to figure out what they're gonna do for their adjustments of continuing to share the universe. So I like that Viola Davis is staying. I like that they brought back Henry Cavill. I know that there was pictures of Ben Affleck. And to me, he's my favorite Batman. Everybody has their own, and so please don't judge. That's just my opinion. That I enjoy Ben Affleck as Batman. So it's nice that they use this movie to try to shape things together, bringing back Henry Cavill. And another thing, I don't listen to spoilers and I don't watch multiple trailers, because if I'm sold once, I'm sold, and I want to have my own enjoyment. So I know that people said that the movie was spoiled about that, but for me it wasn't. So I was lit in the theater with Henry Cavill showing up, man, coming through the smoke, and it was just a silhouette. It was great. It was great, and I just hope that he becomes the Superman that I resonate with, and they just allow him to be a good man. But other than that, yeah, the movie was cool. I'll give it a full Nerdy Brew grade of 6.7. That's the grade I give it. So, I saw Black Adam. Gave you a lot of Nerdy Brew content about this Black Adam. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts about Black Adam. But I'm going to bring this video to an end, and I'll see you in the next one. But I want you to be you, do you, see the bigger picture. Have a fantastic day, because you deserve it. This is that channel. Peace.
Mouth on top, Kung Fu, Bruce Lee chop, moon rocks, go Red Sox, tryna go far like Boondocks, headshot, blunt stay hot, talking shit, gotta pull up on they block, you fraud, I'm couch guard, know you got a tax like a state charge, safe house, safe house, safe house.